Before we dive into today's episode, we have exciting news. Math is Figureoutable is teaming with Number Club, creators of the award-winning Stick and Split app. This isn't your typical math game. It doesn't just drill multiplication facts. Stick and Split helps students build real multiplicative reasoning and flexible number sense through play.
Now, you know me, I don't recommend just anything. It has to align with our philosophy of developing true mathematical reasoners. Stick and Split does that. And now, Number Club is launching 2 new games, one for younger and one for older students. And y'all, they are good.
Join us in a free webinar on October 22nd, 2025 at 4 p.m. Central with the Number Club team to explore the math behind the games and how to use them in both classrooms and home.
You can register now at mathisfigureoutable.com/numberclubwebinar. That's mathisfigureoutable.com/numberclubwebinar. Now on to the episode.
Hey, fellow mathers, welcome to the podcast where math is figure-outable. I'm Pam Harris, sitting here at NCTM 2025 in Atlanta.
And I'm Kim Montague, also with you at NCTM, but I'm a reasoner who now knows how to share her thinking with others. At Math is Figureoutable, we are on a mission to improve math teaching.
Because we know that algorithms are amazing human achievements, but they're terrible teaching tools. Because mimicking step-by-step procedures actually traps students into using less sophisticated reasoning than the problems are intended to develop. Y'all, we are in the exhibit hall at NCTM 2025 in Atlanta. Tons of people all around us, and we have maybe some of the best people on the earth around us. We have Journey members, some of our Journey leader members are here with us to listen to us record this a little ad hoc podcast.
100%. I mean, I think we have a note card of...
Kim's got a note card. I have my iPad with...
chicken scratch.
Let's say, yeah, chicken scratch. That's a good way to describe what we have going on here. We thought we would talk a little bit about our experience this week. Kim and I have both been here at NCSM, so that's Leadership Conference. And then that's followed by NCTM. That's the Teacher Conference. It's already been amazing. We've only had a half a day. Well, how do you count? Like the opening session was last night. And then
2,
today, so day and a bit of NCTM and off. What are you doing?
You said, how do you count? And then you paused and I said,
gosh,
1,
so you're counting.
2.
Oh yeah, well I count by 2s and 10s sometimes.
You do
Just
indeed.
kidding.
Okay, before we get started, I just have 2 notes to say. Every time I go to a session by John and Kyle, Making Math Moments, they're fantastic. I walk away with
2 Canadian friends.
Yeah,
yep.
We have more than 2 Canadian friends.
That's it.
Anywho,
I said that wrong. Okay.
I walk away.
Kyle Pierce, John Orr, Make Math Moments.
Yeah, I walk away with a Post-it note of 17 books I need to buy. I'm so annoyed with them because I keep buying all these books, and it's because of them for sure.
Sure enough. I'll tell you a book that's on my list from a session that I went to. I was going to try to tell you when. Sometime this week. Mm-hmm. Karen Karp. And someone. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Her wonderful co-author of the Math Pact did a great session. They are also the authors of Rules That Expire. And they have a new book out called the Math Pact. And they were talking all about it and kind of help all of us. Sarah Bush, you were amazing. So sorry that I didn't pull up your name right away. Yeah, they did a great job. And maybe my favorite part of it was at the end of the session, I wanted to meet, I don't know, I think I've met Sarah in person, but I hadn't met Karen before. And I just had a delightful conversation where I was pushed back a little bit. No, where you sort of ask for clarification just a little bit. I wanted to know about algorithms and what they thought about algorithms. And fascinating, I think both of them, I really respect both of their work. But I think we define algorithm a little bit differently, which I think is noteworthy. So as we define algorithm differently, they kind of said, well, it's anything that you do to reason through a problem, to solve a problem, which then I kind of pushed on. Is that a strategy? Is that an algorithm? And we kind of came to a great place where we agree that what we want students to do is to be reasoning as they solve through a problem. Maybe we don't quite agree where the algorithm's place is in it, where at least the way I define algorithm. But it was a great conversation, and I think we're all trying to move math forward. And I appreciate, I think the Math Pact could help schools come to some agreement about things to do and not to do. as they move forward to teaching math that's more figure-outable.
Yeah. We today went to a session with by Elham, Kazemi, and Allison Hintz. That was fantastic. A whole bunch of us got to go and sit together, and they were talking about working on talk moves, but also, and maybe more importantly, I think helping kids understand listening moves.
Well, and super
really
cool
yeah.
because they announced that a seminal work, I think, that is fantastic, Intentional Talk. They have not rewritten. They've written the second edition.
Yeah.
Or a new edition, now called Intentional Talk and Listening. Oh golly, is that the title?
Yeah.
I'm looking at some friends that were with us.
Know.
It's close to that. Yeah, yes. And I think that's fantastic. And the chat with them afterwards is to just really compliment them on the fact that they are learners. That the book came out 10 years ago and they've learned since. And that's teaching, right? Like good teachers, we're always learning. We're always improving our craft. Really appreciate the fact that they're now giving us even better help with intentional talk and listening.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, fantastic. I also went to a session Vanessa did, Vanessa Vakharia. And it was a beautiful moment because she was sharing a story about something that she had just learned that she felt like everybody in the world knew. And there was somebody in the room who also didn't know the fact that maybe a lot of people would call like common sense or like common knowledge. And the other person in the room didn't know as well. And she told a story about it. And she said, oh, you're one of the lucky 10,000s club. And it was so fantastic because in that moment, she was sharing that there are, there's a lucky 10,000s club and how I don't have the words for it right now. She talked about how there are at any time 10,000 people who don't know the same thing. I think it's what she said.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so it's just I'm getting it wrong, but the way that she framed it was about how instead of being like, oh, everybody knows that, it was like this moment of you're one of the lucky 10,000.
That's interesting.
And everybody in the room celebrated and were excited for this person who we got to watch learn this very common thing or what most people would call common in that moment. And instead of being like, oh, that's sad, she was excited about it and we celebrated. We got to watch her learn this really cool thing in this moment.
Yeah, and I love
beautiful.
how you just were really clear there that we're not celebrating is the fact that she didn't know something.
Right.
We're celebrating that she just learned.
We got to watch
thing.
her learn this great thing.
Oh, yeah, learning in action, like learning
so
happening. That's unbelievably cool. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So one of the things that I did, I was able to go to Catherine Beal's session. So she's in the State Department for the state of Idaho. Yay, Idaho, where I grew up, and which was kind of fun. Though funny, Kathy, because in the middle of the session, she said something about Idaho, and I was like, whoop. She goes, you don't count. And I wait, because now I'm in Texas. It's okay. We made up. We're friends. She was discussing that there are some people that are asking about the people who call themselves the science of math. And she suggested that wherever you fall in this discussion, that it would be good for you to be sort of clear on what you think. And so she kind of helped us. And this is what I found really noteworthy. And Kim, we might dive into this more on another podcast episode. She took a book from the Science of Reading. So it's a rather small kind of pamphlet book. And she walked us through tenets of the Science of Reading and then compared how really a lot, if not maybe all, of the Science of Reading does not correlate or correspond very well at all with what the people who call themselves the science of math are suggesting. Yeah. And that was actually very useful to me. I don't know very much about reading. You know, when my kids came home from school, I would say, how was school? Which really means how was math? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I read. I'm a voracious reader, but I don't claim to have anything. You elementary teachers are much better at, teaching kids to read and teaching them to write. So I don't claim to have any expertise there at all. I now know a little bit about the science of reading, and I now have a resource that I can sort of think about. Maybe the biggest thing that I'll mention today was mentioned by her and by Rachel Lambert in a wonderful session that I went to by Dr. Rachel Lambert, who talked about that the science of reading is from a 50-year-old body of interdisciplinary research. Right. Whereas the people who call themselves the science of math happened during COVID. Hey, what's her name? That's Kathy and. Okay, so some people just walked by that I really would like to say hi to at some point. So we'll go find them later. Right now. So that's Kathy Fosno, just sort of wandered by us. Didn't even say hi. That's okay. It's all right. She's busy. Oh, there she is. It's all right.
We're waving right now.
Well, Brandon was going to go get their attention. And I wish I could. No, okay, they're walking by. And we should maybe keep talking because, and maybe she's going to come over and say hi.
She said, oh my gosh.
Wow. And here comes Kathy Fosno, who is like mentor
our
extraordinaire.
first ever.
So Kathy, woo!
Look at this, Ramos. Kathy, we're recording an episode of our podcast right now.
Oh
You
my
should say hi.
God.
No, do it. Say.
Would you
Kathy
mind just saying
Fosno, do you
hello?
wanna Would you like to say hello?
You could just say hello to our listeners.
Kathy
All right.
Fosno.
Hello, Kathy Fosno, loving
God.
loving Pam's strings, and now I call them problem strings too.
Nice to see you, Kathy.
Carol, it's wonderful to see you. Would you like to say hi on our podcast? No.
Okay.
All right, Carol Mosses and Teague, thank you. Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Have a great conference. We'll see you later. Oh my gosh. Okay, so total mentors walking by, and then this is why you go to conferences.
100%.
You go to conferences to connect and to connect.
You know what? You know what I
Connect.
love?
Connection is so
I'm
important.
glad you said that, because one of the things that is so fueling
Learn.
when we come, right? We have these conversations all the time between us and between the members on our team.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to come year to year and see people that you maybe haven't connected with face to face and see what they've been thinking for the last year.
Yeah.
You know, there are people that we both communicate with throughout the year and just start making lists of like, this is what we want to talk about. And you sit down face to face, and this is a nice place to do it, to say, what have you been learning this last year?
Absolutely true.
It's
yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah. When I was saying to connect, there was another word I was looking for, and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the connect and learn,
sure.
super important. All right, your turn.
I have one other thing, or the next thing I want to talk about is I went to a session about affirming learning walks. You know, as leaders, sometimes we spend a lot of time talking with our teachers, coaching our teachers about things we see, and we're thinking about like the one right thing to say that's going to make a big impact in their classroom. And sometimes the thing that they need is no words about what you need to change or do. And I think it's really important that, especially with everything that's going on now, teaching's always been hard, but right now it is almost unbearable for our teachers. And the idea of affirming learning walks being completely separated from evaluation, being separated from coaching. They were talking to principals and curriculum developers, all these things about saying there is a moment where you coach about affirming learning walks, where you gather teachers together, and the only purpose is to give feedback about the things that they're seeing their students do that's going well. And teachers like almost can't believe it, because they're waiting for like, oh, here's the 3 nice things, and then here's the one that you could be working on. But they literally, and what they have found is that through this process, teachers are more willing to invite people in, because they're excited to have you in. They're excited to be celebrated. They're excited to share what their kids are doing. And then, you know, over time, that this is not necessarily the purpose, but over time that they saw that their teachers were willing to have enough people in, and the trust was built. I can't tell you how much I loved that session, and how teachers need that right now.
And it's all about relationship,
right?
And what a better way to relationship than actually getting to know each other by like just observing and noting what's happening well.
Yeah,
I think that's brilliant.
Lifting teachers up is really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that Rachel Lambert said in I went to a couple sessions that she did. She did a great one with Cara M, who's also
so
brilliant.
Good.
One of the things that she said, which kind of helped me. Kim, you and I did an episode not too long ago where I poked on the count it out. No, not the movie. The Strands. Who wrote Add It Up? There, got it. Oh, got it. Okay, sorry. the 5 added strands for proficiency in mathematics.
Yeah.
And one of them is procedural fluency. And I've said, let's drop the word procedural. Like, this is, why do we have procedural fluency in the fight? Fluency. Let's define fluency the way we mean it. We've had a long conversation. I'm still going to sort of stand behind that. But I also now am willing to give how do I say? I'm a little bit understanding of why some of wonderful people in education refuse to drop the word.
Yeah.
And Rachel explained, because it comes from the other sciences that use the word procedure and procedural not to mean mimicking steps of an algorithm, but they mean that you are successfully accomplishing the thing. I wrote down, oh golly, can I read my own writing? Cognitive science, when they use the word procedural fluency, they mean you have a way of solving the problem.
Yeah.
And so because we have, one of only math education is one field in a lot of fields that are looking at education and the way kids learn and cognitive science and everything, if the literature is using the term procedural fluency to mean that you have a way to solve the problem, okay, then maybe if we're going to communicate with other fields,
Yeah.
then I can see why we need to understand what they mean when they use the term.
Yeah.
Now, I would offer, if we're going to do that, we would need to help all teachers understand what we actually mean by procedural fluency and not what they think we mean, which is having kids, dive in and just mimic steps of an
Yeah.
algorithm.
I love that you had that moment. Like rethinking our thinking is exactly the kind of work that happens when we collaborate with other people. They push back and we push back and we think and we share and we reflect and we change our perspective maybe a little bit based on the input that we have from them. I'm excited for you to have that. I have one other thing.
All right.
It's kind of a big topic, so we might have to just
Should I do one small thing before you do that? That's kind of along with what Rachel was saying.
Sure, yeah.
So one of the other things that she said was the What Works Clearinghouse is based on the IES, which I should probably know what something educational something. Okay, pretend I knew those letters. What's the I? Anyway, they create this What Works Clearinghouse.
Yeah.
Which is the intent is to bring education so that bring research to educators. So it's kind of supposed to be the bridge between research to educators. And lately I have noticed this trend where some of the research that they bring forward is, frankly, I don't agree with.
Right.
And they're like the preponderance of good, we have helpers here that are saying it's the Institute of Education Sciences.
Appreciate
Bless you, Laura.
Shout out to Laura.
Glad you're here.
Shelby helped us earlier.
Thank you, Shelby. And thank you. Alicia, don't tell me.
God.
I was thinking. Alicia, I didn't even look at your name tag. Did you notice? I did. Okay, because I was pulling. Alicia's here too. We're glad. Where was I? That they only, What Works Clearinghouse, for whatever reason, they've decided that they're only going to accept one form of research. And it's a rather narrow form.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And because they only accept that one form of research, one of the things that Rachel's done in her work is she has looked at she took a span of years, rather recently, and she looked at education research in mathematics. In multiplication.
Yeah.
Pick an M word.
Yep.
And in multiplication, she had about the same number of studies that were done in general education and in special education.
Yeah.
And noted that the kind of study, and maybe I shouldn't even have said that split, because she did that split, but the one that's more important is that was on direct instruction. And that if it was on direct instruction, it was the kind of research that is accepted.
Right.
And if it was on any other kind of instruction, there was a couple that were mixed methods, but they were all the other kind of studies. And so what that means is that what the What Works Clearinghouse is drawing from is a very narrow band of
skewed.
kinds of research.
Yep.
So then if that's all they can draw from, no wonder we're only kind of hearing one sort of focus on it. At some point, I think that is going to come out a little bit more, like we'll see that being written up. And then we'll kind of have that, the information that she's presenting live. I'm sure she's going to write up someday. And then we'll sort of use that in more detailed fashion so everybody can know that.
I'm so glad you mentioned that session. It was almost shocking to see as she was layering on the specifics of these studies.
Very nice graphical representation where we could sort of see, and this is this kind. And now notice how many of these are this, and notice how many of them aren't. And
it's really unfortunate because it almost feels like special education teachers are finding support for some of the things they're saying about, what their kids need. And it's just simply because that's the kind of research and kind of study that is being approved, if you will, for the What Works Clearinghouse.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, I'm just going to mention that I've been to quite a few sessions, and also shout out to you because we did math in your sessions. And I always get a little... I want to do math at a math conference. So I'm super excited when you do math, and I'm super excited when I go to sessions where there's some math. Like, we're wrestling with math because I think we all are learners, and building numeracy is together in these kinds of conferences is super cool. And I also have really appreciated when people model kids' thinkings, have some representations of student thinking, but I think there's some work there to be done about the way that we model students' thinking and making sure it's an accurate representation of what they're saying and what their ideas are, rather than what we superimpose as our ideas. Yeah, I want to keep talking about modeling.
Okay. You just said that in a very asset sort of, like, there's still work to be done.
We all have work to be done.
It was a very positive spin.
Thank you.
Am I hearing that you saw someone modeling not well?
I saw some areas of improvement in some modeling. And we're going to continue sharing conversations.
Like from
about
presenters?
Yes.
Okay.
We're all learning.
We're all learning.
And I think we can talk about it and say, like, these are some things that we find really relevant and important in the ways that we model with students. And maybe somebody would push back, but I think there's some people that maybe are representing students' work in ways that could be clarified so that it communicates to the students in their classrooms.
Little loose modeling happening.
Yeah.
Maybe with less.
And I've been to a million sessions, so it's not,
If you saw Kim in your session,
I was excited to be there.
Chances
we chose to be at your sessions.
And we're all learning.
And we can't go to them all, so I am sad for all the sessions we're missing.
So I'm super clear that our editors probably heard this way too many times. These NCTM, fix the name tag thing.
What's wrong with them? What do you know?
Okay, so at NCSM, you could move all you wanted and you didn't hear this.
I totally do not hear it. I'm sorry that you do.
We were chuckling at NCSM because we were like, aren't we glad these are not as bad as the name tags last year at NCTM? I get to NCTM today and
this is the first I'm hearing of your frustration.
I just barely shift during one of the sessions and I feel like the entire room can hear me.
Stop moving.
I know. Okay. You noticed it too? Yeah. Alicia noticed it too.
Me.
So there. Anybody else?
Things,
okay, several people are nodding. A couple people are looking at me like I'm silly. Yeah, okay. All right. Kim, I did not prepare you for this, but do you have a surprise or was there anything that particularly struck you that small, minor? Can I share one you can think? And if you can't come up with one, maybe I'll just share one of mine.
What you're talking about.
Y'all, I got to meet James Tanton this morning. I have never had the opportunity to have a personal conversation. I was actually in the room with him once several years ago, and I was genuinely, what is a good word? Amazed, happy.
You were really excited to have this conversation.
And very pleasantly, not surprised is maybe the wrong word. Fulfilled? Give me a word, because he was so intellectually curious.
Yes.
So not to put anybody else in any of the less light, but often when I meet with sort of other experts, they'll kind of almost, I feel like a little bit of good work. And I'm like, do you know what we do at Math is Figureoutable? I feel like we do some unique things here and very delightful people. They're busy. They have their own work. They're doing really good things. But he was so intellectually curious, and he had read my whole book and had very pointed things to say, and it was just a delight. And so maybe I'll just give a public shout out. That was I've had a lot of wonderful conversations, but it was a bit of a highlight to have just that. Yeah. Intellectually curious sharing of ideas with a mathematics education expert. So thank you, James. It was a pleasure.
That was fun.
All right. Got anything?
I do actually.
Okay. Bam.
Okay, I'm gonna share. So apparently you talk about me when I'm not there.
I mean,
and I know. All right, well, apparently
except the pencil thing.
Oh, Ryan Flessner is on my bad note because he made me say, I actually texted him and I said, you're canceled because he was talking about how you have to do math with a pen.
Ryan,
and
go.
I sent him a picture and I was like,
go.
Canceled. And then I listened to a session and I sent a follow-up text that said, okay, in the way that you want to do it, I totally agree, but don't tell Pam. That's literally what my text said.
So we should probably tell everybody, and maybe we'll have a picture that we'll post on social media, but we're wearing our podcast pen and pencil shirts on purpose because that's silly.
Okay, well, let me tell you. So,
okay.
I spoke with another leader who said,
I thought it was that you used a pen.
That was my side note. I'm distracted, just like you get
I was
sometimes.
really sort of happy that you were ever going to agree with me about a pen.
Well, I did.
Carry on.
Today's the day.
Kim,
Mark it.
Go. What was your cool
So
thing?
another leader came up and said, I just want you to know that Pam always says that you do this for her. Like this thing that you hey, Kim does this thing that makes me better.
We're good together. Yeah. Okay.
And they said, I wonder if you would ever be willing to help me in that way.
Oh, wow.
And I felt so honored. And I love that you said something nice. I don't think you say bad things about me, but it was so, I appreciated knowing that you said that something nice that I helped you with. And then they were like, could you offer that help to me? I was like,
wow.
Yeah, no problem. It was really nice.
All right, y'all. Let's get from our studio audience in the room. Let's get a great big Math is Figureoutable. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Math is Figureoutable! Y'all, thanks for joining us on the podcast and making math more and more figureoutable. To find out more about the Math is Figureoutable movement, visit mathisfigureoutable.com and keep making math figureoutable!
That's it for today's episode. But before you go, have you signed up for our free webinar with Number Club? On October 22nd, 2025 at 4 p.m. Central, we'll explore how the Stick and Split app and 2 other new games develop true mathematical reasoning, not just memorization.
It's free for the Math is Figureoutable community and promises to be an excellent discussion with math voices from across the pond.
Save your spot today at mathisfigureoutable.com/numberclubwebinar. We can't wait to see you there.